Friday afternoon, President Obama said he should have calibrated his words differently when he spoke about the arrest in his own home of Harvard African-American scholar Henry Gates. Let's take a look at what the president's trying to dial back.
The Cambridge police acted stupidly in arresting somebody when there was already proof that they were in their own home. What I think we know, separate and apart from this incident, is that there is a long history in this country of African Americans and Latinos being stopped by law enforcement disproportionately.
Margaret, was it appropriate for the president to talk about this case?
Appropriate, not smart. First of all, he didn't know everything. But, you know, professional black men this week are all saying things that they're blurting out their feelings, which is what the president did, which is if you're black and professional and in your own home with identification in this country, you can still be arrested.
Kevin?
Well, I think the president acted stupidly. The fact is that he set off a firestorm, and I think the really interesting thing is to think about why. And I think that the reason why this comment came back to haunt the president so much is that really there are two types of people at the extremes in the political parties. There are Republicans who think that everything that anybody in government does is wrong unless they're in uniform. And then there are Democrats who think that everything government does is right, you know, except for the people who are in uniform. And so that there's this dividing line, I think, between the far left and the far right and their attitudes towards people in uniform. And what Mr. Obama did is that he basically reflected, I think, a kind of far left-leaning view about the cops always being wrong in that comment before he really had all the facts. And I think that's why it resonated.
I think he actually took the view of a black man. During the campaign when he wasn't black enough, he said, try to get a taxi. Listen, if that were Professor Lawrence Summers, who was trying to get into his own house, and a woman called and said he was breaking in, and the police came, whom I respect. I grew up in a neighborhood of policemen. He would not have been arrested. There would have been words exchanged. He would have been belligerent. All of the other things would have happened. Larry Summers would not have been arrested.
You agree, Kevin?
No, I don't. In fact, I think that it's telling that the cop involved was a guy who was involved in training people how to deal with sensitive racial issues. And I think that if it were Larry Summers' home and the same thing happened, then he would have been arrested too.
But don't you think it's less likely someone would have called if a white guy was trying to get in the middle of the day than a black guy?
No, because they were breaking in the door. And if you see anyone breaking in the door, then you're going to call. I don't think it's really a racial issue. I think the problem for President Obama is that he ran as a moderate. He's been governing as an almost radical liberal. I mean, the hottest T-shirt on the internet right now is Obamianism. And now he's doing something that sort of looks like the far left again, and it resonates with people because of that.
I think it was totally the reaction of a man who, despite, I mean, hey, things are square now. He is President of the United States. But he knows and he remembers, and you talk to people like Eugene Robinson, who Pulitzer Prize couldn't be a gentler man, and he said this happens. A white man would not be arrested in his own home under similar circumstances.
Well, I think I've been surprised, I must say, at the number of black professionals who've told me this week, haven't been arrested, but cabs and things like that. It'll be an ongoing story. And as I hope you two will be an ongoing story. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank